So, this apparently belongs here. Petty revenge against my entitled cousin. I'm going to try to keep the recap short, as I tend to write what I think, and that tends to get long. I have a cousin we're calling Leiren. He, his father, and mother are on a list of people I hate with such venom, you could die from inhaling the fumes just being near me. Leiren and his father were physically, emotionally, and verbally abusive to me and others all my childhood, but their treatment for Leiren's little brother, Emmy, was a million times worse because Emmy was effeminate and obviously gay. Emmy was one of my favorite cousins. I love him to pieces, and often most of my more brutal beatings and torments by the hands of his brother came when I ever deigned to stick up for him. The worst was after some idiot guidance counselor convinced Emmy at like 13 to 14 to come out to his parents and demand his choice be respected. Well, that didn't end well. The police were called. Emmy went to the hospital. Leiren made a big deal about not wanting to share a room with a super offensive homophobic insult. Things happened. Emmy moved in with our nana and through it all, Ms. Mother was nothing but a bystander. She let it happen. I had confronted Leiren when we got Ms. Stuff, but I wasn't big enough yet to not get my ass kicked. But that would be the last time. Years passed, things happen. Leiren remained a douchebag. His father got worse, did terrible things. Treated family bad and was a constant source of grief for Emmy and others. My Aunt Bibi didn't divorce him until the umpteenth time he cheated on her. And I've always hated her for crying in my parents' house to my mother and other aunts on why he would do her like that when she does nothing but love him. I remember screaming that it's because he's an awful human being and she knew it. She watched him brutalize his children, he hits her, and she's crying over him. I told her she was pathetic and I hated her. I full expected my mom or someone to scold me then, but standing next to Emmy, no one seemed to want to try to tell me I was wrong in front of him. Years later, many years later. I'm grown, we all grown. They have kids. I don't have kids yet. Though wife is pregnant now. My cousins, my siblings, all of them have a lot of kids. Age ranges from around 6 or 7 right now for some of the youngest ones, to around 18 to 19 for some of the older ones. My brother's daughter is 18. Leiren's kids are 17, 14, and 12. I don't like Leiren's children, and not because their dad is a mega douche. It's not even because every one of their mamas is more ratchet than the last with the exception of the 17-year-old, whose mother was a sweet girl I really liked, but Leiren was too much like his daddy for her to stay with him. It's because, despite everyone's best efforts to be positive influences on these kids, their father's influence is king. They are rude. They are violent. They are incredibly ghetto. They steal and are generally on that hood ratish. Moreover, they have developed their father's homophobia and bully the other kids, and bully Ms. 2 adopted kids cause their parents are gay. I tried having a positive relationship with all of these kids. But I'm no saint. I don't like bad kids. I don't like bad attitudes. I don't like dealing with some of the parents attached to these kids. Because my dad was successful and a lot of his other family was not, there was a lot of friction there. I used to get bullied by them, told I talk white, or that I wasn't black enough. I actually had to learn a little slang in high school just to fit in. Sometimes now it comes naturally, but it still sounds off to my ears when it comes out and I'm not trying. Usually it comes out mostly when I'm angry. Because of this, I don't particularly treat everyone the same. Those I like, I go out of my way for. Those I have a stronger relationship, my nieces and nephews who call me, or game with me, the ones who contact me just to talk or tell me about what they are doing, rather than just call me to ask for stuff, I favor. In fact, probably trying to get something out of me is the fastest way not to get it. I'm reasonably stable financially and am known to give really thoughtful or seemingly expensive gifts to those I care for. Those I do not or am indifferent to get rinky-dink gift cards. This has been a cause of friction for my family, though before I ignored the little murmurs cause at least no one had the kind of entitlement to confront me on it. Most of them are people who were terrible to me growing up, who sought no relationship with me as an adult, and did not put in any effort. Most don't even wish me a happy birthday on Facebook. So I meet them with that same kind of energy, though I only been financially where I am for like 4 years, so now a lot of folks is trying to be more chummy with me, and it's transparent. So the inciting event was a birthday. Layron's kid, and 2 other of my nieces and nephews all have birthday on or around the same day. So they have always shared their party. I like the other 2. So I got them specific gifts based on conversations we've had and their interest. They are all 13, and Layron's kid is 14. I got the girl a Cintiq because she draws. Given that that is also my vocation, I definitely felt good about that gift. I got the boy a go-kart, cause he's convinced he's going to be a race car driver and always wants one. He was a big fan of Little Giants, which was a movie I watched as kid. But he liked it, and so we got him a little go-kart. Each of these cost around $500. I got some hookups, especially with the Cintiq. I live in a different state, so I had the gift sent to the kids' homes and told their parents to not have them open those gifts or get them at the party. Specifically cause I wasn't getting Layron's kid anything like that. I may not like them, but I'm not about to rub their nose in anything. Instead, I got everyone gift cards and nice handmade cars of their favorite anime characters. Even Layron's son got a himself as a Naruto character in a card on some lovely cardstock. I spent much time with my X-Acto knife crafting. All the kids got $50 gift cards, and I donated money to the joint fund for college for them. Which is the standard thing we do on everyone's birthday, the whole family that can. It's so automatic, pay what you can, that I didn't mention it in my journal. Apparently Auntie Harley and Uncle Mac did not follow my instructions and their gifts got opened at the party. Worse, apparently they were opened right out of the boxes, so everyone knows what they are and what they cost. I got a very upset phone call from Layron and his wife accusing me of favoritism and being petty, taking out my anger against him on his kids. I told him in no uncertain terms, my treatment of his children are based on their reaction, not his, cause I hate Babat and Cora, but I love they kids. I told him they ain't entitled to nothing from me. He swears up and down I shouldn't get anyone anything if everyone don't get something, and that I should just send him the equivalent money because his kid was traumatized by the unfairness of it all. Things got heated, and then his current baby mama got on the phone, who ain't related to any of the other 3 and is pregnant with his latest, and she tries giving me the business, and I hang up on her. I get 2 more phone calls. One they dial me back. I hang up again. The next my Aunt Monica, who had Layron and Ms. Mother, Aunt Bibi with her. She says she understands and all that, and she knows what's going on with me and Layron and how I feel about his kids cause they bully the other kids. But she said that my favoritism might be causing a problem, and she was under the impression, falsely, from Layron that I had promised to get his kid a gift of equal value, and I'm now reneging because I'm but hurt over something. The first exchange was not good. Especially since they repeated this idea that I send like $500 to Layron. Things got worse when his mother said something and then asked why I hate her and how I used to be such a good kid. And I went off on her for being a bystander and staying with her husband though he beat her, her kid, and me. I also admonished her for only leaving the guy for cheating on her. Let me be frank. I was not kind when I said this. Not kind in the slightest. I was very mad. After that, I got family pressure to just basically make the problem go away. Some quoting that I shouldn't give anything to anyone if I'm not going to be fair. Usually those who I don't do much for. But some folks, even ME, had said I'm being too unfair. He believes though his nephew and nieces from his brother are rotten, that it's not their fault. He still tries his best to be their friend and buddy, and keeps bringing his kids around trying to have a relationship. I think it's a form of abuse, cause his kids hate it, and they disrespect him and his children. But that's not my call. Layron is still in a hole to ME, so they don't have much of relationship, but ME has forgiven his mother. Father, not so much. We're both very glad his dad and we both urinated on his grave. That's not a joke, we said we were going to do it and we did it. If I still lived there I'd make it a yearly event. So Layron and his hood rat have been having the family hound me for days. I'm going through my own stuff since my wife is pregnant, and I got my own life and issues and it's really stressed me out. At first, I took Reddit's advice and threatened to go NC with anyone pressing me about it. Also, told folks I don't owe anyone anything, least of all fairness, when it comes to my generosity. There was a lot of folks coming out the woodworks and emails and pressure, and I finally caved after talking to ME. ME and I got talking about it and how things are, and he's defending the kids, talking about how messed up their situation is. How it's hard to come out a better person with those negative influences, and how they are probably gonna need therapy like he did. And that gave me an idea. So, you want me to spend $500 or so on your kid for a gift? You want me to give him a well thought out, thoughtful gift of that magnitude? Something that I think he needs or would help him, something I know from the conversations I've had with him like the others. Okay, bet. I called up Aunt Monica and told her that I'm going to rectify my mistake, only because it was wrong for them to open their gifts in front of him like that. And that I'm not a monster, so I will give him something that cost the equivalent he most desperately needs. Aunt Monica knows me, so she's like, "What are you going to do, unfettered? I don't like how pleased with yourself you sound." I tell her it's all good, and to look forward to the gift in the mail. I contacted a friend of my dad's, Dr. Lupsy, who is a child therapist. He said he'd charge $65 an hour, which is awesome. He's a good therapist, I know, cause I saw him as a kid when I was dealing with all this bullying and stuff. I don't think he was my dad's friend then. I think they became friends after. I told him the story, he knows everything about me, Laren, and ME. Me, and ME multiple times, and even had 2 group sessions with Laren and us, and even his dad that one time when we were younger. So he understands the situation, though I didn't let him know or imply I was doing this to be AD, I am, mostly, but I do think that Laren's little devil, let's just say Devin, could use it. I talk him into doing 8 sessions for $500. And say, I'll pay. He reminds me that even if I pay, no one can force the kid to go to therapy, especially if Laren and his mother doesn't want it. So he says talk to them before paying, and then we'll see. I say nah, I'm gonna pay it up front, and if they ever want to take it, they can. It'll be my gift to them. He tells me he thinks I've grown up to be an upstanding person. I take the compliment with a spit-eating grin, because I know I'm being a little spit. He said if Laren doesn't take me up on the offer, that he'd refund me. I told him that's cool, just don't give the money to Laren. He said he wouldn't. After this is secure, I contact Laren and let him know I've changed my mind, and I have gotten his son an equivalent gift. I said I'll send the receipt to him, and it's up to him if he takes advantage or not. Like I thought, he was upset that I didn't just send him the money. I said these are gifts. He tried to play it off like he wasn't just wanting it for himself, making the excuse that I don't know his son, and he'd probably be better at buying the gift. But I shut that down and told him I guessed with everyone else, I'm guess here. He wanted to know what it was, I told him he'll see. He got it yesterday afternoon. I got very angry call. Oh, his rage and anger was sweet. He accused me of questioning his parenting, I replied I am. He said I thought I was funny, I said I do. He said some other stuff, and I just smugly reiterated that like with the other children, I sat down, thought long and hard about our previous conversations and what they wanted to do or be, and got them a gift I thought appropriate to encourage that. Your son wants to be a successful person, and before he can be, I think he needs therapy. I have already gotten so many phone calls. And unlike what I thought, there's been a surprising amount of support for my decision, though everyone knows I'm being cheeky here. Most who supported me thinks it's a master stroke. My dad, who I'll admit I care what he thinks more than anyone else, said he would have approved of me not doing anything for these leeches, but considered what I did do to be checkmate. And said he's very proud of me. I've always been a creative problem solver. My mother told me I'm in a hole, but it was a good move. She was laughing, so it wasn't like she was admonishing me. Most who were against me are saying I was trying to be bogus, but this is actually a good gift for him. Auntie Monica has been dying laughing. Aunt Bibi said through Monica that I was trying to hateful, but I actually was helpful, so thank you. And some said some mean spit, and I told them they can got NC if they don't like what I do with my money. EMI believes I did the right thing, and finds it hilarious. He promised that if Devin does go, he will match my contribution to get him another 5 sessions. Leiren and his hoodrat baby mama Kimberly are so angry now, cause the family are telling them they got what they wanted, and now they are just sounding selfish and greedy. You can't ask for a specific gift. They ain't got much of a leg to stand on. Here's what I know. Leiren would have spent that money on himself. I also know if I bought something tangible, they would have sold it, and spent that money on themselves. This isn't why I didn't do that. I didn't do that cause I didn't want to give Devin nothing, but being able to foil they selfish little plan was an added bonus. Here's what I know. Leiren would have spent that money on himself. I also know if I bought something tangible, they would have sold it, and spent that money on themselves. This isn't why I didn't do that. I didn't do that cause I didn't want to give Devin nothing, but being able to foil they selfish little plan was an added bonus. So now, I'm happy and I can focus on my pregnant wife, and her current crisis. Yay me!